3, I call this meeting to order. Stand up.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we can please have a moment of silence for our fallen firefighters. Thank you. You may be seated. First up tonight, we have a special presentation by Chief Will. Oh, I skipped it. I'm sorry, I skipped the introduction. All right, let's try again. Kristen, has roll call been taken?
Yes.
Thank you. Can we start with the introduction?
Scott Sutter, Chief of Police.
Don Bryce, DPW Director.
Brooke Hart, city treasurer. Kristen Kenyak, city clerk. Ellen Glass, city manager.
Tom Hicks, Council.
Denise Miller, City Council.
Brad Dick, Mayor Pro Tem.
Elizabeth Armstrong, Mayor.
Mike Gilmer, City Attorney.
Brenda Simons, city councilor.
Terry Link, City Council.
Pam Howe, city council.
Now, we can call Chief Will. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine, thank you. Tonight I'm here to recognize 3 members of our department who received awards for the year of 2024. We do this annually at our Christmas dinner / awards dinner we held in January. I wanted to bring them here tonight in front of their peers to celebrate their efforts and dedication to our community. We traditionally give our members Years of Service Awards in 5-year increments. This past year, 2024, Firefighter Linden Hope celebrated his 25th year serving on our department and the community. Like all of our members, their main careers and skills that contribute to provide our service when the alarm sounds, In Jim's case, he's an engineer by trade with a local company, and his mindset helps us with training sessions and operations on a fire scene. Jim has often given back some of his paycheck to the department in the form of specialized equipment on an annual basis. We appreciate his efforts to improve our department and dedication of his time to help when someone has an emergency. Thank you, Jim, for all you do. Jim?
In front of the council.
Can we do it all together, or do you want to?
All together after, it's fine, let's do that.
The other 2 awards we do every year is the Firefighter of the Year Award. This award is voted upon by the officers of the department for his or her outstanding performance as a Linden firefighter. This firefighter started in his fire service in 1985. His son Anthony is a lieutenant with our department as well. Roger, even in his senior years, continues to show up for no matter what time the alarm goes out, day or night. I usually hear from him the next morning asking where are the rest of the firefighters when he's the only one that shows up for a 2 a.m. call. His attitude and dedication has always been a great benefit to our department and to the citizens of the community he chooses to serve. With that being said, please give Roger Carter a round of applause for being selected Firefighter of the Year 2024. Last but not least, the Chiefs Award. I continue to practice of recognizing a member of our department for their dedication, positive attitude, and giving of themselves to make our department the best it can be. This year's recipient of the Chiefs Award has been a member of our department since 1991. Her dedication and work ethics to attend calls and make sure the department and personnel records are in order, and that is a task. We appreciate all the help that you have given us to make sure our medical continuing education credits are in order, our EMS equipment is in order, and all the paperwork is done correctly and recorded with the state of Michigan. I would like to thank Marta Ray, aka Medical Officer, for her continued dedication to our department and for the effort she gives to us and the citizens every day. Marta?
Thank you, Chief Will. Next, we're gonna move on. We have 4 pieces of correspondence, 2 letters from residents, a APM mosquito control community outreach information, and the 2025 weather siren testing dates. Those all can be found in the packet. Moving on, we're gonna go to public comment now. And the first public comment is gonna be by Monica Warner.
I'm Monica Larner, and I reside at 152 West Ralston Road. And going through the packet, I was concerned about the letter about the trash can situation. And so it bothers me on a couple different levels. So in the paper and such, there was public notice about personal property deposited on the front lawns and street right-of-ways constituting a public nuisance. And the city will take immediate actions to abate the nuisance. So the trash cans that are in question, and they're not just the ones that have been spoken about, are a problem. And just because it's one person coming forward and saying this, I don't think it should be saying, oh, it's not a problem, because it is a problem. And I can feel for the one person trying to make it right, because over and over, I've been trying to make things right on trespassing. I now have snowmobiles trespassing on my land. And just because it's one person complaining about the trespassing doesn't make it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Next up, we have Judy Preston.
I'd like to understand, Ken's got this water, there's a survey going on. And there's a clause in our charter on 9.7. It has not been clarified, I have asked in email and everything. I have got information from other lawyers, this statement and how it reads. It reads, the voters should vote before. So now you have surveyed the property using the taxpayers' money. And then you're saying basically the well and the treatment plant will be taken over or sold to Tennessee County. Well, how would that be done if none of the voters had voted on this? That's my question. Other thing is the trash. Probably not heard, trash flies. Trash guy dumps trash on our road, I pick it up. I help the neighbors pick it up, clean it up, that's fine. The other thing is, can we have a handicap rail, or a ramp, I would say, from the mill to the parking lot? I understand and can't do it from the gazebo, I guess I'm correct in that. And the rumors that go around this town, outrageous. I have read so much on the internet with the backstabbing and this and that it's just, it's shameful. inflation's gone up, yes. I've talked to businesses. Yes, we're gonna have to eat some of their inflation on the water. Their increased water, we're gonna eat it, or whoever comes into our town is gonna eat it. All I'm asking is be more organized when you do stuff. Don't hand a packet to somebody Thursday or Friday and say, we're gonna vote on it Monday. Get multiple opinions and be respectful of each other. I don't care what you do in your personal life. We're here for the taxpayers. You are all taxpayers. We are all taxpayers. Respect one another. Don't play politics. That's it. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Judy. Next up, David and Sarah Banks.
How's everybody doing?
Actually, is this agenda related?
It's
Is it
public
public?
comment. And why am I on the agenda?
You want us to go separate?
The public comment, just to clarify, the public comment typically for the beginning of the meeting is for non-agenda items, and you guys are on the agenda.
Okay,
Your
we'll wait.
specific issues on the agenda.
We have
Sorry,
no-
just to clarify.
Okay, we have no
Yeah.
problem waiting.
Yeah.
We'll wait. Come on, babe.
You're on unfinished business.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any further public comment? Hearing and seeing none, public comment is closed. We're moving on to the consent agenda. City council meeting minutes, application to use public property, and resolution number 03-25, amending the 2025 meeting schedule for the city of Linden. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Make a second.
All in favor? All in-
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving down to unfinished business, resident trash can complaint.
Madam Mayor and Council, in your packet, you will find a memo I've drafted. I realize this recommendation is probably not going to make the individuals happy or some, and I certainly understand that. However, we do have to be careful with when we have isolated issues or even maybe a handful. We have over 1,400 trash accounts. And, you know, if we were to place an ordinance in, as of right now, based off of, you know, a few isolated incidents, we're asking our police then to tie up their time and restricting our police department and taking them away from other priorities and things of that nature. We have communicated, I think Monica, you mentioned it, we have communicated that we do have other ordinances and laws on the books that address it. If the trash can is out in the road, you know, that's impeding traffic, our police department has communicated that, they will address it. If there's uncontained trash, you know, we have the ability to address that as well. But as far as a time frame on the trash cans and things like that, as of right now, you guys can see we've put the information in the packet, and this has been an issue that was brought up with the previous council. And they felt at the time that there was not, you know, a significant amount of issues to place or amend our ordinance to address. So, again, that's just the memo that you have in your packet, that's, you know, my recommendation. And after we've had time to review it and talk about it as well as a staff, at this point, we do feel that this is the best approach. Obviously, if things develop down the road and things become more of an issue, then it can always be revisited. So I don't know if Mike might have anything to add to it, or even Chief Sutter, who's the one that has to address the complaints when they come in.
I really don't, no.
No, I would address it, and I respect you guys so much for, you know, bringing it up. It's tough to be the lone wolf sometimes, I get it.
We're not though.
Well, I know, but we've talked about this. This
Right,
is
but
the
we
only-
ran a poll online, chief.
Okay.
And so,
From our perspective, we've only had one complaint from this. But, again, it's important, I get it, I do.
but did you see the poll online? On the
Just
poll
just a
online, we
second,
had
Mr. Mays.
40 people.
Just 1 second, please. Let's let Chief finish, and then we'll get right to you, okay?
No, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. All right, So now we're gonna move out to audience questions or comments.
Can we come back up?
So when you guys made that decision, or you're talking about it, and it sounds like she's already made a decision, you guys didn't have all the information. Based on everything that was said, you know, chief of police is just dealing with what he has to deal with if there's a complaint or a fight or whatever. However, my wife put a poll online, and 40 people right off the bat complained. Half of the staff members read that poll, and you've seen all the complaints. This is not an isolated incident. This is a problem throughout the town. People are complaining all over the place because they haven't gone to blows, because there hasn't been cars getting wrecked, and the chief doesn't respond, so how would he know about it? So you cannot base your decision on not having all the information. Now, new evidence has come up. There's the poll, there's all kinds of stuff. My wife went online and she found that the last time the trash can ordinance was amended was 1969, 1955.
Right.
And tell them what you found, baby.
Well, it was made in 1955. Obviously, Americans throw out more garbage. We don't have 32-gallon metal cans anymore. We have 96-gallon cans now. They impede, I can't pull out of my driveway. I can't see, they blow on the road, they're on the sidewalk. My neighbors personally leave them out for 5 days at a time. They're there from Tuesday to Saturday night, sometimes longer.
They just took care of them this morning.
They're always there. Now, as I read codes, Linden City Code Sunday morning, I decided to do a search on neighborhood disputes, and up came what Monica referred to as a public nuisance. Now, that's code 91, and that's defined as whatever annoys, injures, endangers the safety, health, comfort, repose of the public, interferes with, destroys, renders danger on the street. Now, that is all of it.
And that's on the books now.
That is a code. So if if we're the only people, can this be addressed as a public nuisance? Because we've lived there 21 years, and have dealt with it for 21 years. We have talked nicely, we've communicated, we've done the neighborly thing, it's not working out.
We used to be friends with these people, and we are no longer over these cans. Now, it's like the Hatfields and the
Well,
boys.
now it's like, they know there's not a code, they know that it can't be enforced, so they have said, we don't have to. Because there's no code, we don't have to, and we're not going to. So therefore, there has to be a way to render the problem, fix the situation, maybe determine that they are a public nuisance, they are to me, and have them cited for that. And there's very clear in the code that the city manager would have to declare it a public nuisance, discuss it with Chief Sutter, and send a letter to the residents stating that they have to abate the problem in whatever amount of time you declare. So there is ways around it, and there is ways to solve this problem. So just letting us go because we're just one person in the city, I don't believe it, and I think it can be changed. I know it can be.
But the crazy thing is we put that poll up, it was up for 1 day, and over 40 people immediately voted yes on it, that they wanted an ordinance. So we are far from the only people complaining about this.
And as I walked in here tonight, that poll had over 3,000 views. So there is a problem.
And right now, we're at 65% people of the people that polled said that they want an ordinance, they want the cans dealt with.
And a lot of people don't have the guts to come here and stand up and say something. We might be the only mouthpiece, but we're not the only problem.
Thank you both, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry, anyone else want to speak on this issue?
On the can?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
You're not proving my point.
I'm proving your point. We don't have to discuss it because do they really listen?
I hope so.
Thank you. All right,
I see it as a nuisance. I know that just last week, I ended up calling, Benton Township about them leaving mattresses out on Silver Lake Road for 3 weeks. They said, well, we pick up a big item every week, and I said, well, you missed it last 3 weeks. That nuisance has been taken care of, and our city looks better with it. I know it's hard sometimes to get garbage cans out. I live in a house that my husband's a little bit disabled, and we actually pull our garbage cans back and forth when there's 8 or 9 inches of snow out there. So I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
I feel your pain. I've got neighbors that are capitals and we're boys also. But sometimes you gotta try to solve issues in a different way. Yes, it's a pain. I feel for you, understand. But I'll try to help whatever way I can. So just hang in there. Things do get better hopefully. And you just gotta kind of work on it sometimes. Thank you.
Well, I would, after 21 years, I think it'd be further.
I've lived in my place for 28. I understand.
Thank you.
Believe me, it happens.
Thank you, Tom. Pam?
I think this is one of the ordinances that we should update, but there are many of our ordinances that are needing updating as well, but I definitely think this one needs it.
Jerry?
I mean, obviously, this is an issue here. If there's the survey, and I don't know what the basis of the survey was, you know, who was included in that. But I think it's an issue we need to look at. I think it's crazy that this has become a problem, something that would be so simple, but if it is an issue that is widespread around the community, then we definitely need to look at it.
Brenda?
Well, while I agree, it's, it is very annoying when people don't take care of their garbage cans, but we're not responsible for neighbor issues either. However, I do believe that the ordinance is something that we need to take a look at. We've discussed it a few times, and I'm willing to take a look at that if council agrees. That's all.
I do agree, it is frustrating for you, I really do. Regardless of the online poll, again, we have 1,400 garbage customers. They aren't calling the city. We've got 3,000 views of the poll, we don't know if there are city residents that voted on it or what. But at the same point, like, I think, I'm all in favor of looking at the ordinance, rewriting the ordinance, because I know it was 1960. But what I don't want to do is have this board pass an ordinance that's unenforceable. That would be the only problem, is turning our police department into garbage can cops every Thursday, Friday, whatever it may be. Because if they go out and cite one person for a garbage can across the sidewalk, they have to go out and cite everybody in the city. Otherwise, it's gonna get tossed as being unfair anyway. So we have to be sure of what we're doing and have to do it in a way it can be enforceable. And obviously, we'll have to work with our attorney on that. So if if the board, if council feels we want to look at this ordinance, I would make a motion to postpone any action and put this on a work session agenda so we can talk about it. And talk about it with the attorney and the chief, the DPW director, and talk about it in a work session and come up with some kind of language that everybody thinks we can work with.
I support that motion.
Is that a motion?
It's a motion and multiple supports, yes.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Who supported
Motion to postpone action on the garbage can complaint until it can be placed on a work session agenda until reviewing the ordinance with staff.
Roll call. Dick,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hicks,
No.
Simons,
Yes.
Link,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, just to clarify, as in my memo, we do have ordinances on the books, and Chief Sutter or our police department, has communicated that if it's in, out into the road, or it's, trash is blowing around, or if it's uncontained trash, to call 911. So we have communicated that, we encourage you to do so. As far as those items, that's what we've encouraged them to do. Now, as far as the time frame, again, we don't have anything. And at the last meeting, Brad did clarify that, the size of the can, the metal cans was something that we did need to look at because of the date of the ordinance, so.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to the motion to postpone water and sewer rate increases.
Madam Mayor, at the request of the board, we put together a memo and proposed motion to formalize council's direction. This does allow us some time to complete the reevaluation, and if there are any changes, we would bring those back. I also did want to take the opportunity to clarify as well on that. The recommendation from Baker Tilly was not off or wrong when that was recommended back in the spring of 2024. Baker Tilly did a very extensive review of our financials in relation to the project, any capital improvements that were coming down the line, and they made a professional recommendation to make sure that we had adequate funding to be able to pay for those improvements, and the day-to-day operations, as well as any capital improvements in the future. So what we were asked to do is to reevaluate, to see if there's any other way we could potentially look at, the rates as a whole. Look at usage, look at the flat fees, look at monthly billing, look at quarterly billing, all of those things. So I just want to clarify that. Baker Tilly did nothing wrong in their recommendation. It was a very professional presentation. This water project has been something that we've been working on since 2021. The decision to move to the county water happened in October of 2022, after a ton of discussion, a ton of research, and things like that. So I just wanted to take that opportunity to clarify that. Baker Tilly is no longer our financial firm of record. The individuals that we had worked with previously left the firm and went to another firm. So we're working with a different firm. So that's the only reason that we are working with PFM at this point. So just to clarify. And I think we've all recognized that the rates that we have currently right now, they're in place, and that it's the ones that we were proposed for the future. Those are the ones that we're really looking at to see what, if anything, can be done. So just to help clarify. Yeah.
Are there any questions from residents or audience?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If you postpone the next increases, which we're discussing, when we go back to, status quo, where you're going to have your increases, are residents going to be looking at greater increases because you're postponing these ones?
I can't say that, Chris. I don't know. I have to let the reevaluation happen, and a formal recommendation come back to the council. So as of right now, it's kind of one of those things, right? Careful what you wish for. We're all hoping that there's something that can be looked at, but we'll take everything into consideration, and they'll do a full review as well and make a professional recommendation at that time.
Any further questions or comments?
Yeah, but what about section 9.7?
Can you, I can't hear you. I got really bad.
On the charter, there's a section 9.7, if you all read it, and you all interpret it. It says the voters get to vote about the sale of the water treatment plant and the wells. If we should vote vote no, though, I'm gonna let you all know, if we should vote no, we're gonna be about approximately $596,000 more in the hole. So why wasn't that addressed when you were making a contract? Why? Were nobody informed of the section?
Madam Mayor, can I address?
I was gonna shoot it over to.
Judy, I have the charter pulled up. The charter is what, we as staff, operate under, and so does the city council, so we're well aware. Unfortunately, I think that, and I can let our attorney, we have consulted with our attorney throughout this entire process, okay? He has weighed in on that process. Looking at section 9.7 plants and removals, the very bottom section, this section's provision shall not, however, apply to selling or exchanging any article or equipment of any city-owned utility as are worn out or useless, or which could, with advantage to the service, be replaced by new and improved machinery or equipment. So our source is changing. We're no longer using ground wells to supply our water treatment. We are now moving to a surface water system with Genesee County. That arsenic treatment plant goes specifically because of those wells. That arsenic plant also was not original to the system. That was put in place years later to address limits that the state put in on the city to address arsenic levels. The other caveat to that is, we currently do not have a backup system whatsoever. If we had something catastrophic happen, we're down. That system will remain in place and will provide a backup to our residents in case that something does happen. So that's I guess, my contribution to the conversation. Mike, I'll let you jump in at any point, because I know we've talked about this and labored it many different times and spoke with it, as a staff and council before, so.
All I'll say is, I was asked about it in 2021 or 22. I looked at 9.7 at that point and gave my opinion. I was asked again about it maybe 2 meetings ago at a public meeting. I reinforced my opinion. I've been asked to look at that kind of anecdotally a few times recently. There's nothing that I've heard or seen that changes my opinion. I gave my opinion, council acted. And I know that that may not be the popular opinion, but I stand by it. My advice goes to council, does not go to necessarily non-council. So I gave the opinion to those who asked for it more than once.
So they wanna lie to y'all.
Any further public comment or questions on this issue? All right, we're seeing none. Tom? Pam?
No.
Sharon?
I guess just one question on, when we're talking about until we reevaluate the water rate analysis, there was some other discussions also as far as meetings with the drain commissioner, I believe. What all are we waiting to hear from before we start trying to make a decision?
So they have to take, PFM has to, take, and they have to get we have a meeting that still has to happen with the county as well, and in my memo I addressed that too, that in collaboration with the county, they would do a review as well. And if anything has changed with the project, that they would notify us and let us know that, so PFM has all of those details as far as financial. So PFM has to take all of our financials now and do their own independent review, and then go over our capital improvements, our day-to-day operations, and things like that. It does take some time. We're anticipating that it would still come back to council sometime in March, prior to what those April, those original April rates increases would happen, so.
Are we're gonna wait till all these inputs come in before?
Yeah,
we
I
make
couldn't
the
speak,
assessment?
I mean, we don't have a recommendation back from them, and I couldn't speak to what their recommendation would be.
But also with the county drain commissioner, we will have that meeting as well?
The mayor has met just briefly with the county, and that meeting is still pending as far as with the staff and our financial.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So this is just an extension of our previous, clause on the rate increase.
Yeah, I look at this as just formalizing, it was discussed in previous meetings, but it wasn't formalized by motion,
Okay.
so that's.
Will we have that information before our, next, session? Not the working session, but the next session.
I would like to hope so, but again, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
we'll wait to
sorry.
hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're not their only client, they're a large firm and they have multiple clients, so,
Thank you.
yep.
Brad?
No, it's just a motion codifying what we've already discussed.
Kristen, can you do a roll call? Oh, I'm sorry, Denise, I did not, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Madam Mayor, thank you. No, but thank you for trying to get all the information for the residents that you can.
Madam Mayor, roll call, please.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a formal motion that we postpone the water and rate.
Support,
Armstrong,
yes.
Blink,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Cloud,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
We're gonna move now to the city manager summary.
Just a couple of things. Thank you all for last week. I know that there was a time commitment with food vendor, and I realize that schedules are challenging and things like that, but I do appreciate the time. It now gives our staff, some direction to be able to come back and work on the year ahead and things like that. Last week, our server was down for a good chunk of the time, so it kind of put us behind, and then we had our training, so we're kind of playing catch up a little bit with some things and stuff. And obviously, cold and flu season is a factor too, so just understand that when we're talking about all the things ahead, that it does take us some time to assemble that on top of our day-to-day jobs and stuff like that. So we are working diligently to try to get that review done with PFM. We were waiting on some information still yet from Baker Tilly. And they've been, even though we're no longer clients of theirs, that they were gracious enough to share that with us. So we would like to have that done as quickly as possible from a staff perspective as well, so we can put that to rest. So this past Saturday, which I did not have the opportunity to attend, this past Saturday, there was a benefit for the police department, and I'll let Chief talk about that for a little bit, if you don't mind.
So the Linden Methodist Church downtown here held a benefit for the police department. And it was just a wonderful, humbling thing that they did. I mean, they really cared, and it's just another proof of how important this community is to our police department, and showing us that love. So they were able to raise, along with Pay It Forward helping out with it as well, enough money to buy a bulletproof vest for our police officers. And I don't know if you guys read the paper, just this weekend, there was 4 police officers murdered in a weekend, in 2 days. And it happens all the time, almost every day. So it just to show that, that my gratitude is out of this world. I'm so thankful for them and for this community. And I wanted everybody to know what they did. And plus, they had fantastic music. Linden Pickers, I didn't know, they play every Tuesday there. It's a great group of bluegrass guys, ladies and gentlemen, that are just playing bluegrass, and they were jamming out, man, and they were fantastic. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. We also did get word last week too that Back to the Bricks organization is going to be no longer held in Linden and Fenton. They are moving those Back to the Bricks events, their tune-up events, to other locations and things like that. So we're just kind of, Southern Lakes has reached out. That's something that we do in conjunction with Southern Lakes Parks and Rec. Southern Lakes has reached out to us and said, what do you guys want to do? Do we want to try to duplicate it? And I think the consensus was that it's going to be a little bit difficult to try to duplicate something like that. So they're going to put their heads together and see what they can come up with, some potential other ideas and stuff. It is a bummer, but I do have to say, as far as staffing goes and as far as our downtown, a lot of our businesses, with the exception of obviously, the Linden Hotel, the brewery, things like that, a lot of them were frustrated with when we closed down the streets and things like that, and they had taken to, from here on out, we'll probably just close our business during those events because it's a challenge for us, to be able to accommodate our customers, with the closures and stuff like that. So, it is a bummer. We're still gonna continue. Obviously, we've got our Music by the Mill series and a lot of other things that are in conjunction with happening in Linden happening this summer. We kind of anticipated this. They've been requiring us to put in a bid every year to accommodate their event. And we've always been kind of put on notice that, oh, it might not happen. So, it is official this year. So it's not just us, but it is Fenton as well. I'm not really sure where they decided to take those, the Wednesday and Thursday events, but, so we'll see what happens there. We're in the thick of staff is in the thick of, all things budget and stuff, and trying to make sure that we're on track for that. And, that's really all I have right now, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to field any questions.
Thank you. City Attorney's update?
I have no update. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Moving on, we've received the department reports. Do you all have anything to add to those this evening? Perfect. Okay. All right, now we're gonna move down to council comments. Pam, would you like to start us out?
So, first I have a quick comment for Scott. Are you still accepting donations for the?
They met what they
They
needed.
met the,
Yeah.
okay, they met the goal.
And beyond, actually.
And beyond,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I just, a couple of things. The training for this past week was wonderful, and I think it helped us grow as a team. And it was nice to see everybody there on the same page, and I really feel good about the team. You know, the Linden City Council team and also the city team, because we're all in this together. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. I urge everybody to attend if you can, sign up for CapCon, the Michigan Municipal League event coming up. It's wonderful training. They have a lot of good speakers out there, and it's well worth your time. I wanted to give a little comment about the mosquitoes, the pesticide that they use, ironically, is something that's entirely natural, and I just wanted, in case anybody had questions, it's something that comes from chrysanthemums, geraniums, and marigolds. It's pyrethrin, and so I just thought, if anybody ever gets nervous about what's killing off the mosquitoes, it's actually entirely from nature, and we grow chrysanthemums here. I know they're insecticidal, so are cedars, but. And then the expo, I hope everybody goes to the expo, that's always good too. But anyway, I just really wanted to say thank you all. That was a wonderful training that we had, and it was great to be with all of you last week.
Thank you, Pam. Jerry?
I'd like to second the training that we had, that Ellen put on, or organized. It was very good, very enlightening as a new member to council. I think we're gonna see some changes and some procedures done a little bit differently. I hope so. And then to the residents, one thing I've learned since surely being on city council is, progress happens amazingly slow. But we do hear what you're saying. We are working on the problems. I think some of the new formats will definitely assist us in getting more information out to you and dealing with some of these issues. Appreciate you showing up, and that's about it.
Thank you, Jerry.
I just want to thank our departments for your detailed reports. It's so cool, because I'm looking at these reports and I'm like, yeah, I saw him out there. I saw his team. It's very nice, very nice. They're very detailed, and I really appreciate that. Other than that, just my plug again for Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, Friday at 7:30 in the morning, if you guys want to join our meeting, here at Losey. That's it.
Thank you. All right, Brett?
Oh, as residents may remember, and council may or may not remember, a while ago, and it's been brought up a couple times now. You know, as residents know, we're going out for request for proposal for what's going into the mill. At the same time, coming in November, I would like to see historic preservation millage placed on the ballot. So regardless of what's in that building, we know it's gonna be here forever. You know, we know a dollar amount needed to maintain it, with or without tenants. And I'd like to see that amount placed in the millage, so we know regardless of what's in that building, it's maintained. And we also have, you know, the city has other historic buildings in the downtown. I mean, the community center applies, the city hall applies. We need to maintain them as a city. And if the residents want to see them maintained, we need that vote, that voice. You know, voices are great when you come in, but when you put it on the ballot and put your money there, then we definitely know it's gotta be something we focus on. So if city staff, if we could put that on a work session to talk about with council, I would appreciate it, so we can get that moving towards the November ballot. Obviously, we're not gonna have anything designated going into that building before then, so.
So, just to clarify, Brad, are you wanting us to then do a special election then for it?
I think there'll probably be a ballot in November.
There's nothing,
Nothing yet?
nothing that we have yet. And just to also further clarify, are you recommending that, I mean, when it was brought up before, it was talked about that it could, guarantee,
No guarantees.
oh, okay.
No guarantees of what goes in there, just guaranteeing that the building's going to be there.
Thank you, Brad. James?
I went to the Wednesday, Thursday meeting in council where we had Lou Bender come in and talk to us. And it was really enlightening that some of the things that I didn't know as a resident, I'm learning. We got a tour when we first became council of the facilities we have. Some are shocking. And then it got us a chance to really know each other during that training, which is good. That was Wednesday, Thursday. Friday morning, I took a class, MML, and on Saturday morning, I took another class, which is hopefully could make me a better counselor for you guys. I would like to, if we don't have, and I don't know if this is the proper place to put it, but if we don't have the car show, maybe bring back the farmer's market. I think that was pretty well attended. And the more knowledge we have, and you guys talking to us, for some of your wants and needs, if possible, we're not gonna know what you need or what you want until you address us. But I can tell you, we do have some things in our city that needs to be addressed. If we're gonna be a city, we have to be proud of our city and where we put our employees. And I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Tom?
I gotta say, I've been involved with the city the last year and a half, and it's been exciting. I sit on this board, I also sit on the Lucy board, and I also sit on the Downtown Historic Board. And what I've seen in the last 6 months is just amazing. The progress that the city has made, and I wanna invite all of you to please come to these meetings, because you'll hear stuff that is in the works and what's going on and what's gonna happen. You won't hear the hearsay and all that stuff, you'll hear it actually from us. And the things that are in the works are just amazing. And I look forward to it, I look forward to helping with it, and I thank you for the opportunity. So please, come to these meetings and you'll see, it's some very cool stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so I want to start off tonight, and I'm talking kind of light, I'm sorry, I'll move the microphone closer. I first off want to thank our terrific DPW, the roads, and the work you guys do on those. Y'all were out today in my neighborhood truck after truck after truck of taking the snow out. And so that is appreciated. I actually had quite a few residents come to me prior to the meeting and say thank you, because at least now they don't feel like the flooding from that snow melt will be quite as big of an issue. So I told them I would pass that on, so thank you very much. The second thing I want to discuss is I'll be at the expo. I have all of y'all to come. I'll be there 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And so I'd love to see y'all's faces there this weekend. I want to talk about the training. The training was very informative, and I really think it has given us a new momentum and direction on how to do, council. And with that, I want to briefly hit on this, and then I believe we'll hit on this a little more on the next meeting. So what we decided on tonight was council meetings. When we're moving them all to 6:30, there will be no more 7 and 6:30. And the first meeting of the month will be a work session, a true work session with no voting. So what is going to be going on in there is a lot of collaboration between council. You'll hear a lot of ideas. Just because you hear them doesn't mean that we're doing them. We need to be able to sit down. There's a lot of moving parts, and we need to be able to sit down and discuss together. And so that is what that first meeting of the month now is going to become, is being able to tackle problems and discuss them as a council and do it in front of everyone. So we are looking forward to starting to do that at this next meeting. And I just kind of wanted to take a second and be able to explain so that when it looks a little different, people aren't like, what's going on, okay? And then I want to thank everybody for coming, but we're not done yet, all right? So next we are moving on to our financial reports. We have bills in the amount of $647,189.72.
I make the motion to accept the financials.
Support.
Christine, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Howe,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Biden.
Yes.
And we have no closed session tonight, so it is 7:57, and I call this meeting adjourned. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for coming.